guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm Gio and I'm with Adamo today to preview the match this weekend that will be played between Lazio and Milan at the Stadio Olimpico. This weekend marks officially the second half of the season. This is where it starts. This is where Milan will start the rotation again, starting from Lazio, of course. It just seemed like yesterday when we played against them there that first match day and beat them 3-1, of course. Of course, those were very good days, days of hope, days that we thought we were going to have a good season. But unfortunately, after the first half of the season, it just doesn't seem like it yet. And we're going to have to do lots and lots of work in the second half of the season in order to prove ourselves, in order to reach our goals and objectives, and of course, to make the fans happy. So, hi Adamo, of course, very important match this Saturday against one of our contenders, really you can call them, in this season fixtures, of course. Lazio doing quite well themselves, of course, didn't start too well, picking up that loss there against Milan, the opening match of the season. But after that, they've been doing actually quite well, only 2 points behind third place. They've actually been very surprising, to say the very least. What do you make of this matchup, Dam? Of course, Milan coming in this match with lots of injuries, not a very strong lineup, which we will be talking about a bit later on. But what do you make of this match?
Well, it's a pretty scary fixture when you think of it, because if you see Lazio's recent form, they've been absolutely killing in the Serie A, especially Felipe Anderson. He's just been ripping it up completely. The first year when they got him, he was a bit quiet, but now he's completely exploded onto the scene. Pretty much every play that Lazio do, he's involved in, either scoring, assisting, setting up. So he's a big threat to Milan. But yeah, Lazio, they've built a good team in the Mercato. We saw it in the summer, how good they were building. They're addressing their problems, especially in defense, and they're continuing to do so in the next transfer window. But the thing is that not only have they picked up the pace from the beginning of the season, they're also very, very deadly and can really make you pay for your mistakes if you make too many, and that's something that Milan do quite a lot in matches. So hopefully Milan can get the win, but it's going to be very, very difficult.
Well said, well said. And of course, Lazio actually doing quite well at home this season. Not the best of records, but they still picked up 6 wins in 9 games at home this season. So quite well, quite good for them at home. Of course, not the best for Milan away from home, only picking up 2 wins in 9 matches. However, the surprising stat is that Milan only lost once in 9 matches away from home, tying a big 6 games. Of course, that is incredible numbers for Milan because you won't expect them to tie so many games. However, this is the kind of season that Milan's having, tying games or dropping points, of course, and hopefully this time around we start the second half of the season on the right foot with a win. But let's not waste any more time and let's look at the probable starting lineup for Milan because Pippo Inzaghi will be going with a 4-3-3 again. As I said before, lots of injuries in this Milan side. Zapata will be missing. Rami missing for suspension. Bonera injured. De Sciglio injured. So lots of injuries, and Inzaghi will probably be going with this back 4, and it will be Abate starting from the right back, Mexes and Alex in the center backs, Armero on the left. As for the midfield, Montolivo to start in the middle because De Jong is injured. Should be back soon, though it's not a long-term injury. However, Muntari on the left and Poli on the right, definitely not the best of choices, especially Muntari, of course, in that midfield, which could create lots of problems. And up front, Bonaventura will be starting on the left in place of El Shaarawy, a player that really has moved everywhere this season in terms of positions. So he will be starting on the left, Menez in the middle, and Cerci on the right. Now, Adam, of course, as I said, not a very good lineup, of course, just because of so many injuries in total. And it's a very depleted team that's really going to have to take something to get a result at the Stadio Olimpico this Saturday. What do you make of this lineup? Strong enough for the win, or maybe just for a tie or a loss?
Well, I hope we at least get 1 point. If we get 1 point, I'd be satisfied. More so for the fact because even if we had a full strength team, it'd be very, very hard to compete with this Lazio side because, as I said earlier, they have been completely tearing it up in the Serie A. So, I take a draw, honestly, because if you see the lineup that we're putting up against them compared to how they've been playing, you can't really ask for much from Milan. Hopefully they play with passion and grinta and do everything they can to at least get 1 point, as I said. But, again, with let's say, for example, Abate starting on that right side, it might be a bit difficult for him to compete with Felipe Anderson, as I mentioned before, because, he's a very technical player. He knows what he's doing. So, again, like I said, that's something you have to look out for because it will be a big, big threat to Milan. So hopefully we can get the tie, but I'm not going to be expecting too much.
Yeah, it's definitely very difficult to see a win out of this game. Also because the team is not motivated at all. I mean, Berlusconi, Galliani going to Milan before the games really has proven not to do much. However, Milan has actually been performing a lot better against the top teams rather than the bottom teams. So maybe somehow Milan could pull an upset out of this. Of course, Lazio is the favorite to win in this match, no doubt about it, just because of their form, their position, the standings, and so forth. But who knows? Milan could maybe pick out a win out of nowhere. You just never know what to expect from this Milan side. On any given day, they could beat Juventus, and the next day they could lose against Parma. So really, you don't know what will happen for Milan. However, really, they have to show that grinta. As I stated at the beginning of the video, if they want to make an impact, if they want to send out a message, they're going to start from this game because this is pretty much a brand new season start right now. As the first half of the season is gone, you can't change that anymore. This is where the results count, and this is where the teams are going to start dropping more points and, of course, taking matches more seriously because really it's all going to come down to the very last match there in May. So it's prediction time now, Adamo. Of course, you stated that you're predicting a draw. Really, not much more for Milan. But, so give us your score prediction at least.
Well, as you said, it would be tough for Milan because, as I said earlier, their form, Lazio's form has been incredible. But again, as you said, Milan, they pull tricks out of the bag all the time, especially against the big teams. But I'm sticking with my draw, and I'm going to say it's going to be 2-2 Milan-Lazio, and I'd be pleased with that result, to be honest.
Interesting result. Lots of goals then at the Stadio Olimpico as far as mystery tackle things. I think there's going to be lots of goals as well. We saw it against in the first game there of the season, 3-1. Lots of goal-scoring chances. I think both teams are going to want to attack, pick up the wins. That's for sure. They both need the win. So, of course, I see it a very attacking game. For Milan, they're going to have to be very careful because, as I said, that midfield is not strong enough. Very slow. The only player really giving that grinta in that midfield, you could probably say Poli. However, as for attacking options, Montolivo is going to have to very much improve his game because so far his performances have been really, really bad. And you just can't have a captain like Montolivo, like Adamo mentioned a few videos ago, really not even showing the leadership. So we're going to need something from him extra special in order to give some leadership, give some momentum, give some grinta to the team in order to pick up the win. So we'll see what happens this Saturday at the Stadio Olimpico. Of course, 8:45 p.m. local time is the kickoff. We'll see you then to, of course, discuss about the match in our match review, fan reactions, and much more. So be sure to subscribe to Rossoneri TV. We'll have everything covered for you guys as far as AC Milan goes. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Adamo, for joining me. This has been Gio signing off, and as usual, Forza Milan.